Welcome. If you're watching this, maybe you're curious about Jesus. Maybe you've just started following him. Or maybe you've heard his name your whole life but never really understood who he is. So let's start with the most important question. Who is Jesus? Jesus is not just a good teacher or a moral example, though he was both of those things. Jesus is God himself who became human. That's the mystery at the heart of Christianity. The creator of the universe took on flesh and blood and entered his own creation. About 2,000 years ago, in a small town called Bethlehem, Jesus was born. His mother was Mary, a young woman chosen by God. But Jesus didn't have an earthly father in the normal sense. He was conceived by the Holy Spirit. This was God's way of entering our world. Jesus grew up in Nazareth, learned carpentry, and lived a normal life until he was about 30 years old. Then he began his public ministry. For 3 years, he traveled throughout Israel, teaching about God's kingdom, healing the sick, giving sight to the blind, making the lame walk, and even raising the dead. But here's what made Jesus different from every other religious figure in history. He claimed to be God. Not a God, not a representative of God, but God himself in human form. When people asked him who he was, he said things like, "I and the Father are one," and "Before Abraham was, I am." That last phrase, "I am," was the sacred name of God. Jesus was claiming the identity of the God who spoke to Moses from the burning bush. The Apostle John wrote that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And that Word became flesh and lived among us. That Word is Jesus. So Jesus is fully God and fully human. He experienced everything we experience. He got tired, hungry, thirsty. He felt joy and sorrow. He wept when his friend died. He celebrated at weddings. He got frustrated with people who were stubborn and proud. He was tempted in every way we are, yet he never sinned. Why does this matter? Because it means God understands you. He's not some distant, cold force in the universe. He knows what it's like to be human. He knows your struggles, your pain, your questions. And Jesus came with a mission. He came to show us what God is really like, to teach us how to live, and most importantly, to rescue us from sin and death. We'll talk more about that in the next video. For now, just know this. Jesus is God who loved you enough to become one of us. He's not just a historical figure. He's alive today, and he wants a relationship with you. In our next video, we'll talk about why Jesus had to die on the cross. See you then.